This is Nick.
This is Jack.
It's Tuesday, T-Boy Tuesday, May 9th. And today's pod is the best one yet. It is T-Boy, baby.
Nick, are you still wearing the stirrups and the cowboy hat from this weekend?
Wearing chaps under my boxers, Jack. That's how I'm rolling from this weekend.
Only a few more weeks of dink life for Nick.
Yeehaw, Jack. First story. What do we got on the show, man?
Lululemon has a new strategy for the knockoff versions of their leggings. They're embracing the knockoff.
It is all about the dupes.
For our second story, Warren Buffett just hosted an annual investor meeting, the Coachella for capitalism.
But everyone was thinking about one word, and what's that word, Jack?
Succession.
Succession.
And our third and final story is Twitter co-founder Jack Dorsey. He just launched an invite-only Twitter rival called Bluesky.
Bluesky, because right now we're all social media nomads.
But Yetis, before we hit that fantastic mix,
Just a wonderful mix that we are building in real time, baby.
we've diagnosed many types of inflation.
Oh, there are so many inflations. Jack and I have found that inflation can take many forms.
For example, there's eggflation.
Yes, when you pay more specifically for eggs.
And then there's shrinkflation.
When you pay the same price for cookies, but you get a smaller box of cookies.
And then there's suckflation.
This one's the worst. It's when you pay more for a hotel room, but then you get worse service at the hotel.
You pay more, but you get less. That just sucks.
It just sucks.
But last week, we introduced a whole new flation to the glossary.
Yes, we did, Jack.
Loveflation.
Loveflation. When you like a brand so much, you'll pay any price.
They keep raising the price, but you keep paying for it.
It doesn't even matter. You're just going to buy that thing.
For example, Chipotle raised prices for their burritos and everything else on the menu by another 10% in the past year.
And yet you paid more for that pollo, not less.
You paid for more pollo, not less pollo.
I know the guac's extra. Put it on the Amex.
So for T-Boy Tuesday, we want to know,
What's your Loveflation product?
what's your Loveflation brand?
Jack, I know what yours is. Your Loveflation brand, it's you're wearing it right now. It's like under the seat.
I'm standing on Birkenstocks, and if they doubled the prices, I'd still be standing on Birkenstocks.
Yeah, full disclosure, Eddie's Jack will sell his soul literally for a pair of Birkenstocks.
For Nick, he's in Loveflation with frosting and cake.
I mean, Susie Cakes cupcakes. Jack, I am willing to pay any price for a slice of that cake.
Yetis, we want to know, what product or brand would you easily pay double for rather than live without?
For what product do you have Loveflation?
If Costco doubled the membership price, would you still pay?
If Darlene doubled the price of your Dunkin', would you still do it?
Loveflation. Let us know at TBoyPod on Instagram and Twitter.
We want to know, with what are you in Loveflation?
Let's hit our three stories.
15 years before this song, two boys from the Northeast met in the dorm. They had an idea that caused a cultural storm. It's the best one yet, but the best is the norm. Jack, Nick, that's it. I don't even think they need to practice. 50%, that's a fat tip. T-Boy City on your at list. If you know, you know, cause we ready to go. We can't wait no more, so just start the show. Start the show.
For our first story, the number one trend on TikTok right now is also the number one threat to Lululemon.
We're talking about dupes.
Dupes.
Dupes aren't about the price, though. Dupes are about being in a club.
Yetis, look around you right now. You don't even realize it. You're not even aware of it, but you are surrounded by dupes.
Those pants, it's a dupe. That shirt, it's a dupe. That cooler, it's a Yeti dupe.
Yetis dupes. The hashtag dupes has gotten 4 billion views on TikTok. And dupes, think of it as duplicate. That's what it stands for.
It's a duplicate. We're not talking about a knockoff product. Like, this isn't the counterfeit Louis Vuitton handbag that some guy is trying to hawk you on Canal Street in New York City.
Goyard schmoyard.
This isn't a pair of Folkleys in the Caribbean you bought for like $12.
As our friend Kim Britzelaire explains in her newsletter, dupes are products that try to be just like another premium product, but at a lower price.
And a dupe is not illegal. It's a legitimate brand. It's not trying to trick you into buying it by pretending to be Oakley.
It's the same quality product. It's just a different brand at a lower price.
We actually covered a dupe on our pod once. Those Trader Joe's facial sunscreen products.
Yeah, and they were duping Supergoop's facial sunscreen.
Right. Both Trader Joe's version and Supergoop's version were effective, legitimate products that worked.
But Jack, what were the prices of those two different sunscreens?
Trader Joe's made a $9 version of Supergoop's $36 original.
Yetis, that is a dupe. And Jack, why are you and I noticing more and more dupes duping around these days?
In this economy? Yeah, in this economy.
Yetis, when times get tough or prices rise, so do the dupes. You get the Foyard, not the Goyard. You get the Fucci, not the Gucci.
You're looking for the RITC cooler, not the Yeti cooler.
But here's why Jack and I wanted to cover this story. Lululemon just became the first big brand to take on dupes.
And they're taking on dupes by embracing dupes.
By hugging the dupes.
Yetis, Lululemon knows that dupes are a problem. They say that videos with the hashtag Lululemon dupe have 180 million views on TikTok with a link on where to buy a cheaper pair of Lululemon pants.
Honestly, as far as we can tell, Lulu may be the most duped brand we could find out there.
The classic product getting duped is the Align leggings, those classic $98 tight leggings that Lulu sells.
However, if you go on Amazon, you may notice a very similar dupe legging that will cost you just $32.
Nick, I see it blatantly on Instagram. I'm seeing ads that say Lulu, but half the price. That is a dupe that I saw an ad for.
Definitely a dupe.
So on Sunday, Lulu finally did something about it. They're launching what they call a dupe swap.
It was a dupe swap. Yetis, if you were in Los Angeles, you could go to a Lululemon, bring your dupes, and they would swap them for the real Lulu leggings.
You hand over the product you bought for half price, and they hand you the real product in exchange for free.
Yeah, it's like one of those amnesty programs you see around. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
It's like you voluntarily bring in the contraband, and instead of punishing you, they're like, thank you. Here's your reward.
Thank you for the counterfeits. Here's the real thing.
Lulu's trying to turn lemons into Lululemons.
Yeah, it'll cost them in the short run, but these dupe swaps, they think in the long term will pay off.
They think after you wear the real Lulu leggings for the first time, you'll never buy a dupe again.
Oh, Jack's still going to try to slip into some Align leggings. So, Jack, what's the takeaway for our buddies over at Lululemon?
Dupes aren't a scarlet letter. They're a badge of honor.
Here's the surprise about dupes, Yetis. One of the few forces that transcends socioeconomic differences, it's being an insider.
Whether you're wealthy, middle class, or lower income, everyone wants in on a secret deal.
That's the real power of the dupe. Wearing a dupe doesn't signal cheapness. It signals that you're part of a club in the know.
That's why you don't just wear the dupe, you share the dupe.
And that is why Lululemon isn't fighting the dupe, it's embracing the dupe.
Because dupes aren't a scarlet letter, they're a badge of honor.
Dupes aren't just about the price, they're about being in the know. If you know, you know. For our second story, the newest rival to Twitter is from the co-founder of Twitter.
Jack Dorsey just launched Bluesky to rival Twitter because right now we're all social media nomads.
Okay, Jack, we've heard of buyer's remorse. We've talked about buyer's remorse before.
Yes, we have.
But have we ever talked about seller's remorse?
It's a thing. It's definitely a thing. And Jack Dorsey seems to have it because his latest regret with Twitter is that he sold it to Elon Musk.
Awkward. At first, Jack Dorsey was a devout Elon believer. He was really excited that Elon was buying the Twitter social media company that he co-founded.
But in a recent interview, it's clear he's turned sour on Elon buying Twitter.
Jack, what was the quote he said specifically? There were a few things he said.
He said everything has turned south since Elon took over.
Not exactly an endorsement of what's happened.
No. And you don't need to know the metrics of Twitter to know that Twitter has become a mess.
And so, Jack Dorsey, Twitter co-founder and two-time former CEO, has an idea, and here it is.
A new Twitter.
He's going to build a new Twitter. That's what he's going to do.
He's calling it Bluesky. It's an app that you can download on the App Store right now.
Now, you don't tweet on Bluesky. Instead of tweeting,
you skeet.
You skeet on Bluesky.
Yeah, there's nudes everywhere. It's chaos. There's some growing pains.
Yeah, they're not working through all the things yet, but the kinks are getting worked out.
But it's exciting, and tech reporters are really excited about it.
Now, of course, Jack and I, we wanted to jump in T-Boy style, but then we couldn't.
We downloaded the app, and then they said, enter your invite code. And we said, about that.
Who's running this? Anna Wintour? Oh my.
There's under 100,000 people who have been invited to the app. Even President Joe Biden is on a wait list behind 2 million people.
It's invite only, it's highly exclusive, and that's how they're also getting a lot of press. Nice. But yet, even though Jack and I couldn't jump in T-Boy style, we did find out what you need to know about Bluesky.
This Twitter competitor is actually just like Twitter. Like you can post text and images and videos and share it with the world.
Yeah, apparently Jack Dorsey, who hasn't eaten breakfast in 14 years, rebuilt this whole app from memory of Twitter.
Yeah, he's like code here, code there. He was working at Twitter for a while.
But there is one key difference between Bluesky and Twitter.
At Bluesky, nobody's in charge.
Yeah, it's like Jack Dorsey came up with this idea on a darkness retreat.
Yeah, and in that sense, since nobody's in charge, Bluesky is a social media network that's more like email than it is like Twitter.
Like besties, consider your Gmail. It's the dominant email provider, but anyone can create an email account and send emails using Gmail.
Because email is decentralized and open source. And so is Bluesky.
Okay, so like Bluesky can't ban any accounts, that person can just open up a new account on a new server, just like you can with your Gmail.
And since it's open sourced, you can also choose your own algorithm because nobody is in charge of what you see except you.
It is a choose your own adventure, choose your own algorithm, not too shabby.
You could focus your newsfeed on friends posts or news posts or just posts about the Real Housewives of Rhode Island.
There's just something about those Real Housewives of Rhode Island. So Jack, what's the takeaway for our buddies over at Bluesky?
Right now, we're all kind of social media nomads.
Daddies, think about this. For the first decade of social media, we all coalesced around 4 core social media platforms.
And because of that, we all reflexively swipe open our phone and open the same 3 or 4 social media apps. We've been doing it for years.
But today, Twitter is now a wild Elon world.
TikTok might get banned.
And Facebook is for your grandparents.
So for many of us, for the first time in years, we're social media nomads. We're wandering around looking for an app to use.
Or, as Nilay Patel put it, we're all just shopping around looking for the right app to post that pic on.
So developers are working on those new apps.
They are.
Just looking at Twitter alternatives, we now have Artifact, Mastodon, Substack Notes, and Bluesky.
Because right now, we're all social media nomads.
And now a word from our sponsor, Framebridge.
Okay, Jack and I, if we want to frame something, it's pretty straightforward what we do. We don't go wait in line somewhere. We go to framebridge.com.
Framebridge is the place we go to get a picture framed.
Your phone, Yetis, it's probably got, a lot of photos on it right now.
Yeah, they shouldn't just live on your phone. They should live on your wall in a beautiful frame.
So here's what happens. Framebridge lets you upload your photo online, and then they frame it in the style that's right for you.
And Nick, framing can get expensive.
It's always way more than I thought I was going to pay for.
But with Framebridge, you know exactly what you're paying for, and it's less than you expect.
Now, Yetis, you know that Mother's Day is coming up on Sunday. Yeah, you got a few days.
So here's the deal, Yetis. Order by Tuesday, May 9th at midnight, and Mom will get it guaranteed delivered by Mother's Day this Sunday.
Guaranteed delivery by Mother's Day this Sunday.
So Yetis, go to framebridge.com, find that meaningful picture of you and your mom, and order it by Tuesday and be a Mother's Day MVP.
Your mom, she gave you life.
So give her a great Mother's Day gift by going to framebridge.com.
For our third and final story, Berkshire Hathaway just celebrated another year of beating the stock market.
So let's talk about Warren Buffett's one-liners.
Because Warren Buffett's one-liners could be books.
They probably are books.
Jack, if there were a stock of the century, what would you say it is? What would you say the stock would be?
It'd be Berkshire Hathaway. No question about it.
Yeah, these Jack and I, we looked at the 10 most valuable companies in the United States, and guess what? Only one of them was actually older than us.
Only one of them existed before Nick and I were born.
That non-millennial stock is Berkshire Hathaway.
Berkshire Hathaway became the Berkshire that we know when Warren Buffett took over as CEO in 1965.
And basically, there are 2 things you got to know about Berkshire Hathaway. They do 2 really simple things.
Number 1, Berkshire buys stocks of companies that they think are undervalued.
Or number 2, they buy entire companies and then they install managers to run those companies better.
Those are the 2 ways that Berkshire makes money: stock gains and profits from the companies they own.
Well, over the weekend, Berkshire Hathaway held their annual shareholder meeting in lovely Omaha, Nebraska. Jack and I like to think of it as the Coachella of capitalism.
The Coachella of capitalism, because this is a weekend-long outdoor event where people strip down into just cash flow statements.
You get a high on the hedge ratios, don't you, Jack?
Oh, and since the 92-year-old Warren Buffett has taken over, Berkshire stock has given them something to celebrate.
Get this. Warren Buffett has beaten the S&P 500 39 out of the last 58 years.
If you own Berkshire stock instead of the S&P 500, you do better than the S&P 500 2/3 of the time.
But Jack, what would you say the highlight is of this Coachella of capitalism weekend?
It was the one-liners, because these two guys, Warren Buffett, who's 92, and Warren's right-hand man, Charlie Munger, who's 99.
Wow.
They're old, they're wise, they've got wisdom, they're kind of crazy.
For example, those two have been skeptical of artificial intelligence because, as they put it, old-fashioned human intelligence is working just fine.
But these guys do invest in tech. Berkshire is worth $700 billion. $150 billion of that is the Apple stock that Warren bought years ago.
And as Warren Buffett put it, the reason he invested in Apple is because people would sooner give up their second car than they'd give up their iPhone.
But the best one-liners were the pieces of life advice.
Yes, Jack and I noticed this one from Warren Buffett. This is fantastic. You want to whip it up, Jack?
He advises young people to write their own obituaries.
Right, now this isn't a dark thing. This is actually a pretty bright thing when you write your own obituary.
Because after you write your obituary, you write how you hope to be remembered. Well, each year you can read the obituary you wrote and see if you're living up to your own standards.
Honestly, fantastic first date conversation starter. But Jack, there was one thing that Warren didn't say, and what was that?
He didn't say when he was going to retire.
Good point.
Again, this man is 92 years old. His right-hand man is 99 years old.
And they're kicking like they're 33 and loving every minute of it.
They're kicking butt.
So, Jack, what's the takeaway for our buddies over at Berkshire Hathaway?
The number one question right now is succession.
Yeah, Eddie's Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger. We repeat, they are 92 and 99 years old, and they are legends, and they're still at the top of their game.
Get this, Warren has been officially retirement age for 28 years, according to the Social Security Administration.
And he's investing better than all of us.
But for the first time, a third person took a leading role in this past weekend shareholder meeting.
And this guy's name? It's Greg Abel. And he's expected to take over when Warren and Charlie move on.
He's 30 years their junior, but he does know the business.
This guy, Greg, he already runs a large portion of the portfolio.
This guy, Greg, he's got skin in the game. He owns $105 million of Berkshire Hathaway stock.
Now, of course, we would all like Warren Buffett to live forever and continue dominating all of us at investing.
But the biggest risk to Berkshire is succession.
Jack, can you whip up the takeaways for us for T-Boy Tuesday?
Lululemon will give you a free pair of their leggings if you turn in a pair of Dupes.
Dupes aren't about the price. They're about being an insider. They're a badge of honor.
For our second story, Bluesky is Jack Dorsey's Twitter rival. It's invite only, but it's buzzing.
Because right now, we're all social media nomads.
And our third and final story is Berkshire Hathaway. It beat the S&P 500 again last year, thanks to the 92-year-old Warren Buffett.
But the number one question on Kendall Roy's mind? Succession.
Same with Berkshire investors, by the way.
Yeah, it is. Now, time for the best fact yet. This one sent in from Jesse Schwartz from lovely White Slammin' Salmon, Washington.
Is that a real place?
I kind of added the slammin'.
Yeah, it is. Last week we mentioned super tasters when we talked about Olipop.
Super tasters are people who have an extreme sensitivity to taste. It's a real thing.
Super tasters can smell cilantro from 6 blocks away.
Is that cilantro? I gotta get out of this city.
It turns out they're more common than you might think, though.
Turns out 25% of Americans are actually super tasters.
And women are 50% more likely to be super tasters than men are.
So when she complains about your cooking, she's right. It's not your fault. It's just her taste buds.
I think it's your fault.
You can't blame the bok choy anymore, Yetis. Yetis, you look fantastic for T-Boy Tuesday. And remember, Jack and I want to know, what's your Loveflation brand? What's your Loveflation product?
What product or what brand, if they jacked up the price, would you have no choice but to just keep paying for it because you love it so much?
Jack's missing a tooth because he gave it to Birkenstock for some clogs. Hit us up at T-Boy Pod. Your Loveflation brands, we want to know. Jack and I will see you there.
Can't wait.
And before we go, congratulations to Yeti's Ben and Grace Foulon, who are having a baby girl. It is official in October.
Happy second anniversary to Tamar and John in Washington, D.C.
And Eddie and Jeanette Hines got their 5-year anniversary over in Marietta, Georgia, just outside Atlanta.
Congratulations to Farhan and Anjali, who are celebrating 8 years together in St. Louis.
Jack, this couple goes to bed every night and discusses how many lifts an Olive Garden is worth before they go to bed.
And congratulations to Kate McCarthy, graduating from high school in Worcester, Mass.
Just outside Boston. And Kate and Vincent Chamba are a couple of Zambians living in America who are commuting together right now listening to T-Boy.
Happy 25th birthday to Megan Gray in Houston, Texas.
And Vicente de Fridas, happy 9th birthday in lovely Coral Springs, Florida.
Happy 36th birthday to Sarah Rudolph in Oxnard, California.
And Brian St. Germain enjoyed that 60th birthday in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
And happy birthday to Ramon in Fayetteville, Georgia. This is Jack. I own stock of Berkshire Hathaway, and Nick and I both own stock of Apple and Lululemon and Chipotle.
Great job, dude. Great job.
Thanks,
you
man.
crushed the light, dude.
Thank you.
Yeah, rude one of the week. Just kidding.